Good afternoon, everybody. It's rainy, it's snowy. Spring is coming at some point. But today, I'm going to use my new Pit Boss smoker grill, and we are going to do some reverse seared venison loin and a venison hindquarter roast. I've always seen folks do this reverse searing, and for the first thing I want to do on this grill, I want to try it with a venison roast. I'm going to work on getting the internal temperature around 125, I think I'm going to go with, and then we'll do some various steps. We'll get that sucker ready to go. With that, I'm going to do a little caprese bruschetta, kind of like Goodfellas does up there at what is it? Black River Bay, Sackett's Harbor, one of our favorite restaurants. We make this all the time. I got some good Roma tomatoes, some vine-ripened tomatoes, some garlic, adobo with pepper. We got some balsamic vinegar, some olive oil, and some fresh basil. And we're going to toast up some slices of some French bread baguettes. And then we'll put that over with some fresh mozzarella cheese. And we'll have that with our reverse seared venison. So get these chunked up, nice little squares. So this is a really good taste of summer. I was craving it today. The vinegar base to the bruschetta with the caprese twist. It's good. You can use whatever tomatoes you want, whatever come up ripe, but I found some really good vine ripened and some Romas. Romas are a little more firm, hold together a little more crunchy. We'll mix those together and it's going to be a really good flavor to go with that venison. Alright, just about got the tomatoes all diced up here. I'll finish up this last tomato. Then try to cut myself. Alright. Alright, come on in here and take a look at the tomatoes. Look how fresh that is. Now, these aren't right fresh out of the garden like it's going to be later on here at the late summer, but still good. Alright, so take a heaping spoonful of just some chopped garlic. Get that in there. Alright, I'll stir all this in. I'm going to do 2 parts balsamic vinegar. 1 part just plain white vinegar. And then I'm going to do probably about 1 part oil. And we'll get the mixture right here once we get all this together. You can kind of eyeball it for flavor. But you want that swimming in there. You get some really, really good flavor. Now we got some fresh basil here we picked up at Tops's Friendly Market. Get a good handful of this, and I'll rinse it off real fast. I'll dice that up, and man, whew, if you could smell that on the video, smells so good. Nothing better than fresh basil. So let me rinse all that off real quick. Get in here and get a nice little shred on it. And I'm not perfect with a knife. You see all those fancy shows and they do all the choppy stuff. You know, I can do it. I can whittle through a fish. I can cut up a deer. I can skin a buck. I can run a trout line. All that good stuff. But I'll tell you what, it's all about the presentation and the flavor. This is going to be so good. So I'll get this fresh basil in here. Come on and take a look at that. Okay. Get all this basil in. Garlic. And then the last thing, adobo. You can find this at all the supermarkets. This is one specifically with a little bit of pepper. And just gives it a really good flavor. So just put a little dusting of that across the top. Let that soak in. Stir it up really good. Now the key to this, some people might make this mistake, is you don't want to refrigerate it because the oil will start to coagulate and tighten up, and then it just doesn't look presentable. So you want this to just be a nice room temperature marinade. And the more that all these flavors blend together, just the better it tastes. It's just so freaking good. Can't even explain it. It's so good. So we'll take that. We're going to take this French bread. I'm going to slice them up into nice little thin baguettes. We'll put a little bit of a butter olive oil mixture on them. We'll toast those up. I'll probably just do those in the oven. Sometimes I do them on the Blackstone, but it's pretty nasty out. So we'll get these chopped up and prepped. Give you a nice little crispy baguette. We'll take some of this pre-sliced. Come on in here and take a look. You get these at all your supermarkets. You get these pre-sliced fresh mozzarella. We'll put those on the baguettes. A little bit of the bruschetta, and that's going to go good with our venison. So stay tuned. Get the rest of this going, and then we'll start cooking the meat. All right, I'm going to make a little butter spread that's going to go on top of the venison. Any questions? Okay, I didn't think so. Got my new Pit Boss Pro Series. Put the tent up today because winter just won't seem to go away. But we got this fired up. We got it breaking in here. I'm letting it smoke itself. Get a little flavor in here so it smells a little better. So look in here, my little concoction of butter and seasonings that's ultimately gonna coat the venison. So I'm going to put this right inside here for a couple minutes. I'm going to let that melt down, get it all mixed in real good. Then I'm going to pull it off and I'm going to let it chill. So this won't take very long sitting right here. It's probably going to, the door's going to sit right on it. That's okay. Look at this. Still got the tags on it. Alright. So my new Pit Boss Pro Series. Welcome to my fall anchor man cave. As you can see this winter, I've been putting up some insulation here. Eventually this is going to be a real nice man cave. Have friends over, I'll be able to do some cooking and entertaining out here. My official fall anchor thingy I made. Pretty epic. Off a couple sheds I had there, found out in the woods. Alright, hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Come on in real quick here. Bring the camera right in. Alright, here. I've got a nice piece of venison loin. This hung in my garage for probably a week. This was the 9-point I got with the bow this year. I cut them into thirds, fourths, depending on the size of the deer. For this 9-point, I did 4 sections out of each loin. This is one of those sections. All the silver skin has been completely trimmed off. There's nothing in here but good, lean, perfect meat. And then here's another piece of the hind quarter. Same thing. If you get in here and look real close, you can see the grain of the meat. So when we slice this, we're going to go against the grain after we let it cook. And then that gets you that tender feel. Now the loin is always pretty much running north and south, I'll say. And then we'll be able to just slice that into the perfect little cutlets. But the hind quarter is a little bit thicker. So I'm actually going to put the temperature probe inside the loin. I want to get that to about 125-ish in the center, from what I'm thinking, because I don't want to overcook them. They'll dry out. So we'll assess it once I get to that point. But we're going to get these basically cooked from top to bottom, inside and out, all the way to a nice medium rare temperature. All right, enough talking. Rotten Rick's meat rubs, right here in Oswego. Rick Lockwood, he makes some phenomenal products. Got turned on to this here, a year and a half, 2 years ago. This is a sweet and spicy barbecue. I haven't tried this one yet, but I know it's going to be good. Can't go wrong with sweet and spicy, especially with wild game. And then this Rotten Rick's buckshot meat rubs, and it's got some real good seasonings that go along with wild game. I'm going to put a nice little layer of the buckshot on here. Get it all over the sides. And it just coats the meat. Alright, then I'm going to put a layer of the sweet and spicy on top of that. Alright, and we'll flip her over. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Buckshot. Alright, and then we'll go to sweet and spicy, get it around the edges. I want to get it all right up in there nice. It's going to give a good outer flavor there, so, alright. So with that, get the sides real good. I'm going to let these rest, kind of to soak in right here for about 15-20 minutes. And then we're going to take our probe. We're going to go on and put her on the smoker grill. Stay tuned. Come on in here and look at this. All right, a nice little seasoned butter mixture. So I'm going to get some gloves. I'm going to take this sucker off. And I'm going to let it cool, because then I'm going to put it back on with all those flavors blended on the meat right at the end. I'll be back to get that. We'll get the temperature probe, we'll get the meat on here, and we'll be rocking and rolling. It's beautiful out. Take a look at these suckers. All right. I've soaked up that seasoning. I'm going to open this up. Get my temperature probe down in the center of this, the loin. It's the thinnest one. Get that right on there. Alright, we're going to let them rock and roll. Internal temperature about 125. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Definitely didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. However, we got internal temperature where we want. So I'm going to get these over on some foil. Alright. Wrap those up. And we're going to get this sucker rip roaring. 450, 500 degrees, open flame. I'm going to throw those on for about 35-40 seconds per side. Then we're going to let them rest with my little butter mixture. And we'll finish up the baguette bread. Okay, we're going to do up the baguettes here. Our bread knife broke, so I'm using a serrated steak knife, but it works. Okay. Alright, we got the baguettes. Got some oil on both sides. We're going to get these in here. Toast them up in the oven. A few minutes here. Get them nice and toasty. And those will be ready to serve. Turn the timer on. I'll go 8.32 minutes. We'll go 9. Alright, we're going to get a nice sear on these. One here. There. Oh, about 30 seconds on that side, and then I'll flip them. Oh, some nice. Put our butter mixture on here. Well, they're sizzling hot. Okay. I'm going to take these. Baguettes. Put a little drop of mozzarella on those. All right, here's our meat. Like I said, we had our grain going this way. Now it's with venison here. I'm a little concerned about being overdone, and maybe it's still got a little pink, but it smells phenomenal. It feels really tender. Got that melted butter mixture here on top for seasoning. We'll slice this thin. You do have a nice medium all the way through there. I think the loin a little more cooked than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. We'll take 2 slices here. We'll lay them out. A couple of those there. Look at that juice. Come here. A little bit of that across the venison. We'll take our bruschetta. It smells so good. Put that right on top. That is a beautiful looking meal.